ALEKS 32, radicals 1. Find all real square roots of 49. If there is more than one answer, separate them with commas. So the square root of 49, if we do on our calculator, only gives us 7. But if we do 7 squared, we get 49. Or if we do negative 7 squared, we also get 49. So there's actually 2 square roots of 49, 7 and negative 7. Simplify the square root of 81 over 49. Well, the square root of 81 is 9, and the square root of 49 is 7. Hopefully you'll start to memorize these values. And so this would be 9 over 7. Evaluate the following. Click on not a real number if applicable. So if we are doing this first one, and we do the square root of negative 16, we get not a real number. So for this first one, not a real number. But if we do negative the square root of 81, it's just going to be negative 9. Find the value of the cube root of 8. So if we hit math and then go down to number 4, we can do a cube root. And the cube root of 8 is 2, which means that 2 to the third power, or 2 times 2 times 2, equals 8. So the cube root of 8 is 2. Simplify the square root of 8. If we put it in our calculator, the square root of 8 is an irrational number that's approximately 2.8. That's not what it's asking for. It's asking if we can divide out any perfect squares. This will be the same as the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. We see that they're the same. But we know the square root of 4 is just 2. So 2 times the square root of 2. Simplify 6 root 5 plus 3 root 5. If we put in our calculator 6 square root 5 plus 3 square root 5, it's going to give us 20.12. It's an irrational number. But what it's really asking us to do is simply to combine like terms. 6 root 5 plus 3 root 5 is the same as 9 root 5. Simply add the coefficients. Simplify root 2 times root 3. The square root of 2 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 2 times 3, which is the square root of 6. Again, it's not asking for this decimal. It wants the square root of 6 here. Simplify root 6 times root 12. If we do root 6 times root 12, that's going to be approximately 8.5. It's not asking for this value. 6 times 12 is 72, but 72 has a perfect square in it. It has 36 in it. So we could do the square root of 36 times the square root of 2, And we see that it has the same value as what we were working with before. And this would become 6 times the square root of 2. That's what we're looking for here. "75 times 3 square root 96. 75 times 96 is 7,200. Well, we know we could divide that by 100, which would break out as 72. When we were just working with that, we could divide that by 36. So that means that this would be the same thing as the square root of 100 times the square root of 36 times the square root of 2. That would be about 84.85. And that would be 10 times 6 times square root 2, which would be 60 root 2. We're almost done. We still have to do the times 3 part though. So that's going to be 60 times 3 is 180. So this is 180 times the square root of 2. Question 10. The square root of 5 times the square root of 6 is the square root of 30. And then we've got 11 root 5 over here. Question 11. The square root of 6 divided by the square root of 54. Well, 6 divided by 54 is a reducible fraction to 1/9. And the square root of 1 is 1, and the square root of 9 is 3, so this should be the same thing as 1/3. The square root of 72, we've broken that down into 36 and 2, and so that would be 6 root 2. 6 square root 2 divided by 8 would be the same as 3 root 2 over 4. And 4 over 8 is just a half, so minus 1/2. And this is ALEKS 32, radicals 1.